I know you're surprised to see me here. I want to take you into the behind the scenes of the movie Titli. Titli, जो मैंने देखी है, is a film that has impacted me so much.
Siddharth Devan, cinematographer.
Behl, costume designer.
Namrata Rao, editor.
Arora, production designer.
I'm also curious to know how exactly they went about making this film. So let's go there and find out what was going on in the heads behind this film. Going back to behind the scenes of Titli with the crew, with the key people. Sid, why did you come on board?
The moment I met him, I somewhere knew that this is going to work out because this was exactly what I was looking for. There was a time I couldn't decide on a film, I didn't know what to do, but when he told me that this is, there's a film being produced by Yashraj, but this is exactly opposite of what a Yashraj film would be. This is not about it's about a family, but there is nothing good happening, and everything is progressively only getting bad and worse. I kind of like that he's really exploring something which exists. I've seen people like this. I've actually grown up in a milieu which is similar to what Titli explores. That was something I really wanted to associate with. That these are the kind of stories I want to be a part of.
This is your second film.
Third film. I mean, I had also done the 2 feature films full I did was Peddlers and then Haramkhor, and this was the third film I did.
Fabia, you don't do a lot of work. We worked together on Black Friday, Gulal, right? I know Fabia very well. But I think you don't do a lot of work. Why did you, what did you think was about Titli that pulled you to it?
The way Kanu actually met me for the first time, it was very different from the earlier process that I've been through. And he explained everything, every single character he explained to me. He gave me the script, read it. It was beautiful. And I just got on board, that's it. I love the script. And I do films only if I like the script.
The film is made under a lot of constraints. There's a lot of constraints. There's not like, and there's a whole lot of stuff. Do you think about those things when you get on board with the film?
All the films that I've worked on, they have been the same. It's been the same process that we've gone through, and scripts have been like that, no budgets at all. So, yeah, we know about it.
Did you identify with the world that he was trying to create? Do you know that world? Because you're not from Delhi.
No, I'm not from Delhi. I'm from Bombay. But it was easy, and I stayed over there. I did my entire prep in Delhi. I was going to the places where they were planning to shoot.
Parul, this is your first film.
Yeah.
What were you doing before this film?
I was working as an assistant. I was assisting production. I assisted Vandana in Shanghai and Sukant on.
So you knew Kanu on?
No, I didn't actually. I got a call from Atul actually. They were looking for a PD at that point of time, and I sent them. I do a lot of photography, and that's the link I sent them. And then I met them, and I got the script, and I was on board the next day. Yeah.
It's your first film. Did you find it difficult? Because I think the production design on the film is phenomenal.
Thank you.
And it's very real and it's very believable. It's very real and believable. And that's not the world that you have inhabited or you come from.
No, but I also, like I do a lot of photography, so I've also worked on documentaries and I've worked with marginalized communities. So I am pretty much familiar with that kind of world. It wasn't something which was very new to me. These kind of things interest me, and that's what interested me in Titli. I just loved the screenplay. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I could relate to that world. World which is a patriarchal world, actually a mentally oppressive world more so.
So were you and Sid and Fabia, were you all part of the recce and choosing the location?
We were going everywhere, traveling everywhere together. We used to have meetings even before we went to Delhi, and we were just sharing images and ideas of how to approach it. And
the house, you found the house there? Was it a ready-made house that you found? Or you
I mean, we must have recce'd, say, 50 to 60 houses. And then we saw Sangam Vihar. We went to Sangam Vihar, and this was not something which we had seen or spotted, or it was in our list of houses to visit. Kanu actually saw it. And he just, I think, liked the vibe. I don't know, he got attracted. He went inside, and that was the house. We found the house. So it's pretty much like that.
But we worked a lot on it. We kind of, we almost like reconstructed the whole space to fit the mood.
The space looks so like lived in, and
but we
lived in for years. Like it's like
there is a lot of subtext in Titli actually, which comes through production design. So there was this entire thing. During our recce, actually, we spotted a lot of these tiny details which we added later in Titli's production design. Whenever we were going, we would see these, you know, like the people, they would put maybe a green color, then after 3-4 years, they would put pink, but the green was never taken out. So whenever the pink would crumble, you would see the green. You might even see the yellow before that. So that is something we took. So there were a lot of these details. I mean, my production design was pretty much based on the recce we went to and saw these many places, you know. So all these details were taken from what we were going. I was shooting photographs and, you know,
and shooting in Sangam Vihar. How was it difficult interacting with the locals and people, or was it easy?
Very easy. In fact, we made friends over there. We used to sit and chat with them. And
people were very helpful around.
Very helpful.
You know,
Sangam Vihar people were fantastic.
Yeah. I think you sourced a lot of your things.
Yeah, from the Radhi shops there actually. So most of set dressing is from the Radhi shops, pan Sangam Vihar.
Yeah, I remember you used to go to houses, like pick up things.
Yeah, and we borrowed a lot from a lot of people. Yes.
I want to talk to you because for me this is most interesting. You were not apparently on board at the beginning.
No.
You came. There was a lot of editors on the film, right?
I was the third.
You were the third. So what was this editing process? Because Kanu is actually not a very easy person to work with. He's stubborn. I think he's more stubborn than most people I know. He's more stubborn than even Dibakar sometimes. So what was the editing process like? In the sense, how many times? And eventually, there was also a lot of personal space that you two were like trying not to cross.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then eventually came together to work on the film.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I mean, in that sense, yes, it was a very cathartic film for me because I had thought we'll never be working together again. I mean, we have done 4-5 films before this, and I thought that's it. So when he called me, though, I was very curious to see what film he has made. So then I went to see, and it was a rough cut. And I really loved it. I thought, how can I not be a part of it? I mean, I felt like I feel jealous whenever I see good films. I felt like that when I saw that rough cut, and I felt I have to be a part of it. Then I mean, the next question was, okay, am I personally okay to do this? I mean, I negotiated that. I think we both negotiated that, and it was fine, eventually.
When every time I work with Aarti, it's very difficult. Sometimes we fight, sometimes we, like in the middle of a film, we decide not to work together. And you know, things like that. It's not very easy to work with somebody you spent a large part of your life with.
Yes.
Right?
But I think the advantage also was that I've grown up in a very similar milieu. So I know these people very well. I know these men. And I mean, so whenever he told me that I want the film to be experiential, I knew what he meant. I knew what he meant, but of course we would keep differing. And I would, my famous joke was that, अगर तलाक नहीं हुआ होता तो अब हो जाता. But I mean, I think that was the brief, that experiential banana hai. And I kept fighting it that experiential doesn't mean that you have to go through the whole thing just like the character. It's an illusion you create of experience. So that is where I think we were differing.
Sid, you chose to shoot Super 16. Was it your choice or Kanu's choice?
First, the seed had come from Kanu. Like I remember, I think the second time we met, he mentioned that, what do you think about Super 16?
Were you excited? Were you worried?
I like secretly like fell in love with Kanu because I like, this is my man, you know, like he exactly said what, you know, it's like kind of my fetish, 16mm. So, and I was like, this is it, like, you know, this is very right. I had certain ideas in my head that, you know, I wanted to use grain as an aesthetic. We wanted to use the size of the camera because I knew that there's also some logical decisions to it, because I knew that we were going to be in a very small spaces. But anyways, we did a test. I didn't really go ahead and decided that, okay, this is it, 16mm. We did a test, we shot, we did a very unconventional camera test. We actually got a location which was very similar to Sangam Vihar in Warsaw village. And we all like kind of worked together, got like a palette together, and we did a not a very scientific test, which we normally do in camera test, but it was more like an aesthetic approach, like, you know, a look-based thing for the film.
Let's see the new trailer and then we'll come back to it.
मेरा नाम तितली है. हेलो. पापा कहते हैं लाइफ में फैमिली से बड़ी कोई चीज नहीं.
हमारे घर पे तो वैसे भी जी औरतों की बहुत इज्जत है.
परचेज में ये बहुत तेज है.
और जी हमारे यहाँ जो फैमिली कहती है ना, वही सच होता है. हमारा एक फैमिली बिजनेस है अच्छा खासा.
निकाल नहीं रुक रही.
जो मिलता है सारे प्यार से मिल बांट के खा लेते हैं।
हाँ मेरा बच्चा।
अरे बहुत अच्छी चॉकलेट बर्फी है, थोड़ा सा ट्राई कर ले।
हमारे यहाँ शादी भी फैमिली प्लानिंग से ही होती है। मेरी वाइफ मॉडर्न है और मैं बहुत ब्रॉड माइंडेड।
नहीं, नींबू सोडा आएगा।
बीवी को उसके बॉयफ्रेंड से मिलाने ले जाता हूँ, बस कीमत लेता हूँ इतना ही।
कितने पैसे लेगा?
3 लाख। मेरा एक सपना भी है।
3 फ्लोर की पार्किंग है भाई, भर भर के आएंगी फैमिलियाँ। 3 लाख में बात फाइनल हो गई है। परसों सुबह 9 बजे तक पेमेंट लेकर आ जाइयो।
बहुत जल्दी पूरा होने वाला है जी। फिर भाई बाप बीवी सब मिलकर पार्टी करेंगे। बहुत प्यार है ना हमारे बीच।
इतने पैसे कहाँ से आए तेरे पास?
बता देना।
कहाँ जा रहे थे इतने पैसे लेके? नहीं बोला तूने?
और पैसे मैं जोड़ रहा था, मिनट में पार्किंग खरीदने। एक नहीं रहना नरक में आवे। परिवार वाले नरक लगते हैं तुझे।
एक कट्टा मैं भिजवाता हूँ शाम को तुम्हारे पास, ज्यादा चूचू पड़ के उड़ा जाए।
अच्छे से काम करके आओ तो सारा परिवार मिलकर वैष्णो देवी जाएंगे।
पैसे नहीं मिले ना, मुफ्त निकाल दूं मेरे से, गाड़ी में निकली जाए।
अच्छी फैमिली से हूँ मैं, क्रिमिनल नहीं हूँ तुम्हारी तरह।
लेडीज से क्या बात करता है, मेरे से बात कर।
नाम दे दो पापा।
शिल्पी नो।
किसी और के लाऊं पराठे?
दे दो ना यार, मेरे पैसे दे दो।
तेरा नाम तितली क्यों रखा? हाथी, चीता, घोड़ा कुछ भी रख देते।
आना जरूर हमें देखने, भूलना मत। डैडी, बावला, विक्रम, नीलू, तितली।
I'm saying there's a very subtle but there's a distinct difference between the way characters are dressed in the film. Like, you know, it's like the father is almost, looks like he doesn't have much of a wardrobe. Whereas Sunny actually, but he does have, and Sunny's are like trying to be more contemporary. What was the difference that you think? If I'm looking for it, I'll find it. Otherwise, they look like they're from the same school.
For the father, what we did, Kanu and myself, we sat for all the characters, and the plan for the father was that we're going to keep him mostly in the creams and the off-whites. White was completely out. We were not planning to use white at all. And slowly, we were trying to discard off his clothes of the father. So first it was kurta pajama, then slowly we went into the banyan, and then it was Behl. So basically, we were just trying to show his true colors slowly, what exactly the father was. The two brothers, that's the Ranvir and Amit. For both of them, we kept checks. We were trying to keep all the three brothers together. But when I went over there and I saw a lot of guys over there, they were wearing t-shirts. And they were wearing really snug, tight-fitted t-shirts with absurd prints on them. But those prints were distracting for the character. And the only way that we could stand the character and still make a similarity between all the three brothers was some geometric prints on that.
But the first thing you notice about Titli, at least what I noticed, was his t-shirt.
Yeah, his t-shirt.
His first shot, it's written Helter Skelter, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, so...
And that was the first impression I had of the character.
So Helter Skelter came more from Kanu because more of Kanu.
Yeah, I had to buy like loads of t-shirts with all absurd prints on them, like writings on them, and then he would just sit and choose, अच्छा मुझे ये अच्छा लगता है, मुझे ये नहीं अच्छा लगता है, and then we would like argue.
How was the shooting experience? I think working on a film like this, which I think is quite harrowing and emotionally very like altering. How was the experience, shooting experience?
I had good fun. Whenever these guys used to shoot, they used to be in that one small room where everybody would be there. I used to sit outside, have fun, have my chai.
How would you react when the scenes when Titli was being beaten?
I wouldn't stay over there. No? I would just run around from there. I mean, like, I would just sit and chat with people. For me, it's like violence is like completely no.
But you have been part of a film that's inherently emotionally
all
very violent.
My films. Most, like everything. Like there's blood, there's beating, there's like everything is like dark, whatever I worked with. But I would like.
We got used to it also because every second day Titli was getting beaten.
Yeah.
So after a point we were like, okay.
But how was it like, you know, seeing two new actors? I'm saying all the other actors are seasoned and there's these two new actors. How was the experience seeing them working in the sense? Shashank, Sunny, Arora comes from a completely different school. And he, in the film, when I see it, I don't know what he went through, which obviously now I know because they talked about it. But he looks and feels Titli.
Yeah, he does. But I honestly had my big doubts with him. First week of, end of first week, when our rushes came and Kanu came to me, he was very, he's almost like depressed. He's like, this is not happening. Like, you know, this film is going to get into a very bad space. His performance was not really coming out. And we started discussing about how to counter it. Should we, because initially the language we decided on the film was, you know, we'll stick to a certain lensing. We will never try to exaggerate a certain perspective by going on a very wide lens or a very tele lens. We'll stick to a very, you know, 35 kind of a lens, which is more observant and following the characters. But when we saw that, we both panicked that this is not working out. This is not the film we imagined it to be, because his performance was not coming out. So we started discussing how should we, you know, start shooting him in a certain way, start adding movement or find angles where it feels dramatic, you know, and kind of compensate for the performance. But slowly, I think in that whole panic mode, they pushed him, and he also got beaten up a lot of time in that process, for real.
Yeah, I remember.
There's one time he also went to the hospital.
There is a
He was
scene
hospitalized?
Yes.
Yeah, he fainted.
The police station scene.
Because he was beaten up so much.
Were you shown the film for you to come on board, or just for your opinion, or bouncing it off you?
Bouncing it off, I think. I mean, but I mean, both of us had it at the back of our minds ki shayad
How did he
hone wala
approach?
hai.
How did he approach? How did he ask you to?
He said, I need a favor. So I'm feeling a little stuck with the film, and I think I've lost my objectivity. So can you just watch it and see? So at that point, I was not doing something else. So I thought, okay, I'll watch it. So when I watched it, I mean, of course, it really hit me, as I said. And all the violence, everything you can feel. And that was also my worry. I had never worked on such a violent film before. And मुझे लग रहा था कि मतलब either I will get affected every day by it, or I'll become immune to it. Either way, it's not a great space, you know. But I think धीरे-धीरे करके वो हो गया.
You feel very proud of the film?
Yes, very proud, because the process was very, very tough. Because बहुत लंबा चला edit.
It's not an easy film.
It's not an easy film, और बहुत हाँ, it is one of the toughest films I've done. मतलब एक तो because when we premiered in Cannes, it was a different cut, and then we decided that we'll cut it short.
Are you all there at Cannes?
Yes,
Yeah.
almost. तो जब मैंने वहाँ पर फिल्म देखी थी, तो मुझे लगा था कि थोड़ी लंबी है. While I was watching there in Cannes, तो then I had made mental notes कि मैं क्या-क्या काट दूँगी वापस आके. तो then I set upon it, and then.
But you know, I always feel that even little that's taken out always damages the film. In the sense, I sometimes feel that the film is going to come out, but with those little silences that will be there. The film is intact, but the little silences. What do you feel as an editor, as people who have been part of a film which is so emotional, so cathartic, and it's like, it's an unforgettable experience, it's a life-changing thing. I'm seeing films like these change you forever.
हाँ बिल्कुल, जैसे कुछ sequences में, जैसे I mean in the heist sequence, वहाँ पे there's a lot of blood. So there I myself felt कि if this goes, it doesn't matter. But there are things like when he's trying to force himself upon Neelu. For me, if that is cut, then that horror goes away. I mean, for me,
that horror is important.
Yeah.
But is there?
Because it's so real. I mean, we have all seen these people. I mean, I've seen them at very close quarters. So, I mean, it's so sad that there are no films about them. And even when they are, we don't want to watch them. We're so scared. So.
No, it is scary. I've seen it twice, and I'm willing to go through it again. But I think it's a great film.
Please watch it. The shorter version.
No, I won't watch the whole. I want to actually see the whole larger cut also. But you know, now the film is coming out. So what are your reactions?
Finally, I feel.
Finally.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Let's see that how the country reacts to this film, which I think is one of the best films that we have made in this country. And I hope you will feel or be affected by it the same way we all have been. Thank you.
And for more videos on the film Titli, please subscribe to YRF's YouTube channel.